What's up, everybody? Welcome to On Tap. I'm Kevin, and I'm excited that you joined us today. Cubs kick off this week, Easter's this weekend, and Mr. Nathan Jones himself is in the house. What's up, dude? You gotta stay in the stool.
I wanted to do it.
Stay in the
so
stool,
bad.
man.
I wanted to do that so bad.
All right. So, well, dude, I'm glad you joined us. How you been?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
You're passable.
I'm passable
You
today.
have a passing grade.
Yeah,
What grade would you give yourself?
I give myself a B+ today.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Are you on the?
We're homeschooling currently, and we don't do grades in the Jones school.
Do you do red on the homework, or it's
No,
all digital?
No,
right?
it's just all good jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, they're all gonna fail the next grade. My daughter's gonna go to real school next year, and it's not gonna go well.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna
Yeah.
go well. But my daddy told me that.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna get those phone calls.
Yeah, the B and the D. You know, direction doesn't matter in our house. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna warm up today because obviously a lot of people out there in the digital world know you. I don't know what that means, but they do. And even more will know you after this episode because it's gonna blow up.
Right.
Because of the
Viral.
things you're gonna say.
Right.
That you don't even know you're gonna say yet.
Right. Yeah,
So
I don't know what to expect.
So a few weeks ago, I talked about how sometimes there's things that from our childhood or maybe from the 90s, 80s, 90s, whatever, that we wish we could bring back to today. But in order to do that, the rule is you have to send something back. So we're gonna play a little time trade game. So we're gonna start with musical artists.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You love music. I know you're a big music guy.
Big music guy.
Yes. Yeah. The radio's on.
My middle name's Music. Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
So you can send a musical artist from today back to the 90s.
Yeah. Oh, I got it.
And
I'm
then
there.
and then bring something from the 90s back to today.
Oh yeah. I would send back this guy named Takeshi 69.
Oh my gosh.
You're gonna show a picture, right?
Yeah.
Takeshi
Yeah,
69.
look at this guy.
Yeah.
Pictures up there.
I don't understand him. I would send him back to the 90s, and I would bring back like all of grunge. Every single grunge band there is, I just bring him back. Kurt Cobain back from the dead. It's Easter. Kurt Cobain has risen indeed, right? Yeah.
Heard it here, folks.
Right.
Kurt Cobain is coming
All
back.
that comes back. Takeshi goes back to 90s.
That's good.
Yeah.
That seems like a very fair trade.
I agree.
Yeah. You'd be too young in the 90s to even understand what he was doing, so.
Who, Takeshi?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
I don't understand it now.
No,
Yeah.
that's right. All right, this is the next. So how about like an element of fashion? Clothing from today, traded out with something.
Yeah, you know those pants that get tighter as they go down that you wear? They're like you know, they're normal pants up here, and they get closer to your shoes, and they like cut off your circulation. I would send those back to the 90s, probably where they came from. Back to the 90s where they came from, and I'd bring back, you know, those pants that have they're like lightning bolts going down the side, like.
Oh, with like the stitching, like the striped stitching?
I'm almost sending back like fake parachute pants for real parachute pants, like MC Hammer kind of pants. I'd bring those back.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I could see you like showing up.
I'd
to the
rock them,
office and,
like sparkly, you know.
You would.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Yeah, you know.
And then finally, like sports star or icon from today. Swap them.
Oh, swap them? Can I don't know if I want to get rid of any,
Okay.
but can I just bring Michael back? Can we just bring him back? Just
We could probably.
put him on the Bulls. Even now, he doesn't have to come back. Like, he can just be who he is now. Just put a jersey on him.
And sit on the bench.
Yeah.
Or let him
just
play.
Let him play.
Let him
Yeah.
play. Just let him play.
Yeah. He'd own those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah. Maybe he'd give you one of those big cigars and glasses
Right,
of scotch he was
glasses of
drinking
whiskey.
on the last dance.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, somehow that glass never went down.
No, it didn't. I think they kept refilling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, go on.
Right,
tell
it's
us
all the
more.
Rodman stories.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Dude. So speaking of Dennis Rodman, I'm just kidding. Just wanted to say that. That's good. You played well. What's your connection to England?
Oh yeah, I lived there for 4 years.
You did.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
Yep.
What were you doing there?
A lot of this, like
Yeah.
sitting at bars and
Uh-huh.
people asking me which celebrity I'd send back to the 90s and that kind of stuff. Yeah, we did campus ministry, man. We like hung out in bars with college students, got to know them, and then told them about Jesus. It's pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How did you start doing that?
I was like a floundering college student
Okay.
who didn't know what he wanted to do with life, and somebody came along and tapped me on the shoulder. It always happens like that, right? Like you don't really know where you're gonna go, and then somebody important in your life says, "Hey, you should do this." And so, like when you're young, you're like, "Oh yeah, well I trust him.
Oh yeah.
He's got a good character. He seems wise. I'll do that." And so he was like, "You should go to England and do this." And so I did. That's how I ended up there, man. And
Wow.
Yeah, it changed my life. It's awesome.
So how did that work? Did you guys just show up to a bar and tell people about Jesus?
We wore American
sounds
flag shirts. So we all went to Old Navy, right?
Yeah.
We went to Old Navy around
That's
July
good.
4th, and we put the garb on.
That's good.
We walked into the pubs in England and just stood there, and people would talk to us and say, "Tell me about your faith."
Yeah, they would ask you to sing "God Bless the USA," and
yes, and
that
they were
was
like,
your in.
"Who's God?" And it was like the Roman road, everything. It was
Wow.
we would just it was about just being with people. Like there were no projects. We just moved into Birmingham, England, and saw people as people, not as our projects, and became
Were
their
you
friends.
a missionary?
Yeah, I was a
Is that what-
missionary.
is that what they would have called you?
They would have called me a missionary, and there was a team of us, and we would just build relationships with people. It's like we did life. Like you just go in and you do life, and I was fortunate to be a college student, so I wasn't like creepy. Like it wasn't like I was this American that like moved over there and was there just to be a missionary. I was a student too, so
Right.
yeah,
That probably helped.
Yeah, I was like part of the video game club, and like I was terrible, but I would just show up and meet students, and we'd go out to pubs and have beers, and I'd invite them to Bible study, and they would come.
Wow.
Pretty wild.
That is so different than.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about that, and I was like, I've never heard of anything like that ever. I mean, there's probably other people doing it, but every version of like a missions thing I had ever known was like go in and tell other people how to live and change. First go for their like morals and customs to align them with Western views and things like that.
Yeah.
And I just can't.
Yeah, it was more about just they were valued because God created them, and we told them about it. And turns out people like that kind of thing.
So what was your biggest takeaway from that experience?
Biggest
Because you
takeaway,
obviously probably didn't grow up. I mean, did you grow up? Well, obviously you didn't grow up because you're a kid in the U.S. Like
I
that was
didn't grow
obviously
up.
different.
Yeah, I didn't grow up seeing ministry like that at all.
Yeah.
So I think seeing how like just listening to people and meeting them on their level like diffuses all sorts of weirdness. Like I mean, there's everybody's got baggage, right? Like you have it, I have it, like based on your experience. But like if you just listen to people and show them you care about who they are as a person, like they are more than willing to listen to you because they know you love them. And I think that was huge. So it's like less about how cool your program is, less about like how shiny things are, and it's more about like who you are as a person. And we can all do that, to be honest.
We can, but don't you feel like, I mean, I don't know, I've been around the church for a long time. A lot of Christians are super weird.
Yeah.
And like,
well, have you heard our conversation? Yeah.
Right.
We're weird.
Yeah, we're weird, but like, I mean, like, make other people feel uncomfortable about who they are. Not even being able to get to the point where like I want to sit down and have a beer with you,
right?
Because I feel like you've already prejudged me about my lifestyle or my beliefs or whatever. I mean, how do you? It just sounds like at the end of the day, it's don't be weird, or is it listen? I mean, what is the thing that if Christians could get anything from your experience, like? What would they need to get out of that? Because I don't feel like most people out there who are not church people would be like, yeah, my impression of Christians is people who just want to like...
Who love me for me.
Yeah, who like come up, just want to listen to me and hang out with me and get to know me, and that's it.
Like, I'm not saying we go to bars and like everyone shares their feelings all the time. Like, it's not like, hey, I'm Nathan. I care about you. Tell me about your feeling. Like, it wasn't that, right? Like, we talk a lot, and I don't know if I've thought about this before, but we talk a lot about grace and truth and like those two things being almost equal. But I almost wonder if like truth isn't really that important in those moments. like you can have truth, sure, you can believe stuff, but nobody really cares. Like they want to know that you love them and that you have grace for them, you know? And I think they return the favor, and that's a good place to work from.
Yeah, dude. That's really interesting. I wish that the conversations surrounding like evangelical Christianity were centered more on like the new ways that people are finding to connect with one another instead of a lot of what we see now, which is, which leader is falling, which thing is crumbling, which thing is falling apart, and what some weird Christian person did in a rally or on TV or et cetera. Do you think that there's any hope for like Christian people?
Hope for Christian?
Is there any hope for Christian people?
It's Easter, Kevin. Come on, come on. There's a lot of hope. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of hope. I mean, is there any hope for that getting any better in America?
Like the infighting, or
the
perception that people have of Christians? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Probably. I mean, a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think there's always infighting that you have to move past. I think Christians just suck sometimes. It's like brothers and sisters fighting,
Right.
But I'm hopeful, man. I think there's, and I don't know if it's generational or at some point the bubble just breaks and you start going, this ain't working, and people don't see, if they don't see Jesus, like if people don't see Jesus, there's a problem. And I get the feeling that there's a whole bunch of people who are recognizing that the way churches have been and how we treated people, like, has not shown Jesus. And I think the more that people recognize that, the more hopeful I become. And I think that's happening.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that, obviously your experience in England was not the only one. I mean, that's happened in other ways.
Yeah,
Talked to
it happens here at Parkview, yeah.
Yeah, we talked to Richie last week about, theology on tap and some of the stuff that used to happen there. And obviously with COVID and everything like that, that's a little different. But it'd be great to get back out and engage in some of those things. So what is...
do it in your garage. You don't have to go to a bar.
That's
you
true.
know what I mean? Like your neighbors, whatever.
Yeah. Tim would talk about sometimes, our pastor Tim, he would say, just don't be weird. Like if you're going to talk to people about your faith, don't be weird. What does that mean to you?
Maybe I can say what it's meant to me in the past, like how I've played it out. I mean, some people are better at it than me. Like you talk to Richie, like Richie is like he'll tell you about his faith like before you ask, right? Like he's just like that kind of person. Right. I tend to be more reserved and hesitant to bring it up until it comes up. That's just kind of my style, but it inevitably comes up. Like you parent differently, your schedule's different. Like our rhythms as a family are way different because church is a part of our life. So like eventually I'm telling my neighbor, headed to church, got something tonight. And then the next Saturday he asked me about it, So I think not being weird is just living the way you're supposed to, but like seizing those opportunities. Like when my neighbor asked me about what I was doing, I could have been like, just going somewhere with my family. But like I knew if I said, we're going to church, we got something there tonight, like it's gonna come up later down the line, So it's just like, it's being intentional about that stuff, and knowing God's working in those moments, even if they seem small. So
for sure. So we mentioned Easter. I feel like around Christmas and Easter, conversations swirl amongst people as to whether or not we still buy all of this, and what is Easter, and the hope and Jesus is alive. How does that like live in our current landscape, and is that message still relevant?
Short answer, yeah. I mean, look at the world, man. Like, you get emotional thinking about it. Like, without resurrection, like, what do we do? Like, without hope of things getting better, like, are we gonna sit in this? Like, are we gonna sit in divide? Are we gonna sit in tension and political unrest and people screaming at each other? I don't want to, and I have to believe, and maybe this is like naivety, whatever the word is. Like, I have to believe that, like, let's say the resurrection's true, like Jesus is in power. And my hope in that gives me so much more courage to believe that all of this stuff we're dealing with right now, like 2020, whatever's going on in Atlanta, like all this craziness, like there is a better, and it's because he's there and he created us, and he created us for better. And I think without that hope, let's just sit in and let the world die,
So So if someone's listening and they're like, okay, I mean, maybe I'll give it a shot this Easter.
Yeah.
I don't know if I gave it a shot last Easter because I was locked down and I couldn't find toilet paper.
Right.
Well, what do you got for them to do? I mean, what's the next step?
I think show up. I think come and see what it is. Like come and hear about Jesus and the hope that he brings. Either come to a campus, and if you're freaked out, watch online. Like and I think go into it willing to listen. I think that's big. Like I think at least for me, I'm kind of cynical sometimes, and I'll go in like waiting for an argument, right? Like I'll go in, I don't believe this, like none of it's gonna be, I've been there, done that, I've heard the religion stuff, but I like go in like with a little bit of like the door open, and I think you'll be surprised.
Dude, well, thanks for hanging out. I'm excited for you. You obviously have a big weekend. You have a lot of services going and all kinds of stuff. So any other last words for before you get things kicked off tonight at Parkview?
I just cannot wait for you to do another one of these post-Easter, and somebody gets to tell that story of that guy that walked in with the door open, like waiting to hear about Jesus.
All right, dude. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for making time. Thanks for hanging out, all right?